So finally, basicity of primary, secondary, tertiary amines. So generally you know that amines are classified into three types: primary, secondary, tertiary. If nitrogen is only attached to the one methyl primary, or not only methyl, any alkyl group. If nitrogen attached to the two alkyl groups, that is secondary. If nitrogen attached to the three alkyl groups, that is a tertiary amine. Now here, what are the basic nature of these amines? So here in this case here there is NH2 group, here NH group, here there is only N. Now basicity of these compounds here is explained on the basis of the two factors, that is one, inductive effect and solvation effect. So here why you have to consider here solvation effect, because here we are explaining the basic nature in polar solvent. Polar solvent means here, for example, water. Water is a polar solvent. So here in polar solvent or in water, or we can say in aqueous medium, what is the basic nature of these primary, secondary, tertiary amines? So methylamine, dimethylamine, here trimethylamine. So your basicity in aqueous medium is explained on the basis of two factors, inductive effect and solvation effect. Now here, so generally cation is stabilized by the inductive effect. And what is the role of this solvation effect? So here this conjugate acid of methylamine, that means here primary amine. This one is one methyl group. Now here what is the solvation effect? For example, water. So here this water molecule can be attracted towards this hydrogen and this hydrogen. That means here more number of water molecules surround this conjugate acid. So here more stabilized by the polar solvent. Now here methyl is only one methyl, less stabilized by the plus psi effect of the methyl. Now we are coming to this amine, secondary amine, this methyl and methyl. By accepting proton, that becomes a conjugate acid cation. Now here these protons attracted towards OH and this proton attracted to OH. So here in this case here, less number of water molecules attracted towards this conjugate acid when compared to conjugate acid in case of the primary amine. But here it is stabilized by the two plus psi groups in case of tertiary amine. So here protonation takes place. So this conjugate acid is stabilized by the three plus psi groups, but here it is less attracted towards water molecule because there is only one proton. So here it is less stabilized by the polar solvent and more stabilized by the inductive effect. And in case of primary amine, it is less stabilized by the inductive effect and more stabilized by the solvent. So here by combination of these two factors, solvation effect and inductive effect, here finally we concluded that basicity of the methylamines is the secondary amine is more basic, and primary amine, and this is the tertiary amine. So based on these two factors, that you should remember this one. Now in case of the ethylamines, so secondary ethylamine, tertiary ethylamine, primary ethylamine. So here slightly there is a change because ethyl is a strong plus psi group. So for this one here inductive effect is dominating. So for this one here inductive effect is less dominating because methyl is a weak plus psi group than the ethyl. So in this case here solvation effect is more dominating. But in this case here ethyl is a strong plus psi group than the methyl. That's a tertiary ethylamine is a more basic than the primary ethylamine. But in both cases secondary amine is a more basic, because here secondary amine is stabilized by the solvent as well as the inductive effect. So this basic nature of primary, secondary, tertiary amine in aqueous medium, that means in polar solvent. But for suppose here the basicity of these amines in gas phase or in non-polar solvents, in gas phase or in non-polar solvents. So in gas phase there is no solvation effect. Of course here there is no solvent here. In non-polar solvent, that means here CCl4, carbon disulfide or benzene, these are the non-polar solvents. In non-polar solvent there is no solvation effect. In non-polar solvents are not attracted towards the ions. Here polar solvent is attracted towards ion. So these non-polar solvents are not attracted towards ions. So in this case here we should not consider effect of this solvent. there is no effect of the solvent. So here there is only one effect is working, that is the inductive effect. So based on the inductive effect, this conjugate acid of tertiary amine is more stable because of more plus I effect. So that's why here tertiary, secondary, primary in any alkyl amine. So tertiary, secondary, primary, tertiary amine is more basic in nature because conjugate acid is more stabilized by the plus I effect. There is no solvation effect here how to consider, but in case of the aqueous medium you have to consider the solvent effect. So it's a very important concept. So already we had some previous questions in mains examination as well as advanced examination. So that is a basic nature. Okay, a solvent effect or in gas phase, that is. Thank you.